Alright guys, time to grab here back again today. I hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to discuss the first 4 vs 4 event of the actual 4 vs 4 environment now that we have returned to since the end of the Modern Warfare season. It was the 4 vs 4 Black Ops 4 throwback tournament hosted by Atlanta FaZe, won by Atlanta FaZe. What could this potentially mean? Maybe not too much, but some of the other teams that, well, some actual professional league teams did play in this one, didn't have the greatest results. So it's kind of interesting to look at and see where this might leave us when the game actually does come out in a couple of weekends' time. We start to have these, well, online tournaments of the weekends, the pro downs or whatever is actually going to come back. Many other topics to discuss as well though. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Firstly, just wanted to mention this. So yesterday we talked about Call of Duty Mobile. These 8 teams are going to be the teams that are at the World Championship. So if you guys are interested in watching it, we don't even know, I think, when it's actually going to be quite yet. But yeah, later this year, as Call of Duty Gamepedia says. Thank you to Surplus for pointing this out to me as well. There was this update to, well, the achievements and trophies leaked for Black Ops CoD War. The AC 130 seems to be a potential score streak in the game, which is kind of cool. I also saw this as well. Hector has been tweeting out a lot lately about, well, old school kind of clips from optic videos from back in like 2014, 2015. So this one a big time. We may talk about this more tomorrow if he continues on this trend, because it's, well, certainly something which doesn't seem to be a coincidence, you could certainly argue. So this then is the Atlanta FaZe tournament bracket, and this is how it looked yesterday. What you guys will see is down here in losers, so they did the group play, and everyone in the groups got to go into the bracket. But if you finished last in your groups, you ended up, well, being right down here in losers round 1. And that was actually the Los Angeles Guerrillas, the entire LA Guerrillas lineup. Yes, it's a throwback tournament, doesn't really matter too much, but at the same time, you know, you got to look at the LAG team, that being Silly, Assault, Apathy, and Vivid. Didn't have the best run here. Optic Gaming wasn't their full lineup. I believe they had Accuracy. Well, they had, I mean, Slasher, TJ, Kenny, and Accuracy in this squad, I think. Seattle Surge, I'm pretty sure, was their starting 4, minus Octane plus Goonjar. So, you know, some teams weren't exactly the full team, and the Dallas Empire weren't the full Dallas Empire squad, but kind of interesting to see that these teams recently being formed have been, well, taken out by some pretty impressive amateur competition. And this tournament did have a fair amount of money up for grabs, right? $25,000. You'd imagine these pros would have been going pretty hard for this one. So yeah, interesting to see how things played out. But after the bracket played out, it came up to a pretty familiar situation where Empire, FaZe, Huntsmen, and this, well, team of grinders, effectively as people describe them as, were the final 4. Unfortunately, it wasn't Empire's full team. It was Critical, Hook, Illy, and Temp. So, yeah, where's Temp exactly going to be? Is he going to end up on OGLA? Kenny was talking about on the Pricecast recently how he's wanted a team with Donny Temp for a long time now. Maybe that's going to be the, well, the lineup there. But with all the uncertainty around what's even going on with OGLA, like the organization moving entirely, what's going on with the players, where are they going to end up? So many questions right now. But Hook and Illy, like, what's a duo? Honestly, I think, like, Hook has just come into his own since the end of the season. Don't know what it's been, but every single tournament I've seen this guy play in, he's been absolutely on another level. And then you've got Critical instead, who's like 16 or something. So maybe a couple of years' time, he's going to come up and be maybe a big name in the pro scene. So keep your eyes on that one. The Atlanta FaZe team, of course, are Beziosity, Celium, and Simp. Their first outing as a 4-man duo. Then you've got the Huntsmen team of Dashy, Envoy, Formal, and Scump. Very similar manner. And then you've got the team of grinders that didn't really play Modern Warfare, but just like banged out Black Ops 4 the entire year. And they also made it, you know, made it all the way to the top 4. So fair play to them. They actually made top 3, I believe, because they went on to beat the Chicago Huntsmen in the losers semi-finals. Then they lost to Dallas Empire in the losers finals, giving a matchup of Atlanta FaZe versus the Dallas Empire once again in the grand finals. And oh well, this is a very familiar story. The World Championship grand final was Empire versus FaZe. It's just interesting to see how this tournament worked out, really. How, like, Huntsmen were 3rd place at the World Championships. Dallas Empire were 1st place at this year's World Championships. Atlanta FaZe was 2nd. This time it was slightly the other way around, but of course not the full Dallas Empire lineup. But still impressive to see, like, Hook and Illy +2, even, you know, with not their actual teammates, I suppose, in Shotzi and Crimsix, we're still managing to put up a fight, right? And it definitely gives us an insight, I think, as to how good this season is going to be and where the competition sits right now. But FaZe just about get the job done in the end. This is funny. 200 IQ plays to win the search and destroy. So, well, Abisi gets himself a lightning strike, calls it in on firing range. Clearly not too aware, you know, maybe he wasn't paying back in the Black Ops 1 days that the roof is actually open on that firing range, like white building in the middle or whatever. Ends up taking himself out and, well, gets the final kill as well to get the job done. And Atlanta FaZe take the victory over the Dallas Empire. Pretty cool tournament on the whole. So $25,000 goes their way. Kind of interesting in a way that Atlanta FaZe host a tourney and they win it themselves. Like it's, you know, well, this tweet came out from the Dallas Empire. I've lost all respect. Sorry, this is absolutely rigged for money or ratings. Not sure which. I won't be silent. Just saw it live. Sorry, this is a pasta from like hockey several years ago. Thanks to Adnai for pointing this out to me. They ended up deleting this because obviously it's just like a joke or whatever, and maybe people didn't fully understand that. So, well, they just got rid of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, still still kind of interesting. So Atlanta FaZe, Selim, Abizi, Arstes, and Simp. Going into this tournament, you would have seen this team as like favourites for this event, I suppose. And it wasn't long ago that Maven over at the CoD League broadcast team and the content they do over there was talking about how he thinks the FaZe are going to destroy everyone this next season. And definitely, I think for a lot of people, they are certainly favourites. I mean, Simp and Abizi should be the scariest SMG duo in the game. Selim, fantastic role player, and Arstes, like who's won world championships with a couple of these guys before in that main assault rifle leadership position, should be super good. They prove it can work here. I mean, like, there was no doubt that this team was going to be decent to some degree. The question is, of course, around maybe the Dallas Empire, right? Because they weren't here with the team this weekend. They didn't have Crimsix, they didn't have Shotzi. And honestly, as I said a couple of minutes ago, I've been super impressed with Hook, right? Like, if you do watch these online tournaments, Hook Skywalker is absolutely smoking everyone off the map every single time I see him play. And it's interesting to see how throughout Modern Warfare, I suppose he was kind of an underrated player. A lot of people would say that Hook was pretty underrated based on his performances so far, and the other, you know, the guys on his team maybe get more credit than Hook does necessarily. And going into next season, I think we're going to see an absolutely fantastic level out of Hook, and well, especially with Illy's like selfless nature of his play, making space for the rest of his team. I think Hook and Shotzi are going to be on another level in terms of the slaying, and with Crimsix leading them, it could be a really scary lineup. So obviously there's a number of great teams right now. FaZe draw first blood, I suppose, for the season. Later this week, there's also going to be like an Elgato 25k or 20k or something throwback Black Ops 2 tournament. It's going to be run on Plutonium, if you guys are aware. Like, you can play Black Ops 2 on the PC via this like Plutonium thing. It's going to be like hitches involved with that. Interesting, a question was raised in the comment section actually about how Dr. Disrespect is meant to be one of the team captains of this, banned off Twitch, of course. So you know, are they going to like stream Dr. Disrespect's matches on Twitch? Like, that is actually a relatively interesting question. But yeah, lots of great team captains for that one. Not exactly sure what the rosters are going to be, even though I did see that the legendary throwback roster of Scump, Nadeshot, Big Timer, and Merk is going to be coming back for this throwback tournament. Unfortunately, though, it's all going to be played on PC and mouse and keyboards, because if you plug a controller in, you don't get aim assist, apparently. So it's not going to be played with that, but it'll still be pretty exciting to watch. And after that, the game is probably going to drop. And then we're actually going to be having these online pro downs, the weekend tournaments and stuff, where the pros are going to be playing the games. And we're going to finally get an opportunity to see who seems to be dominating the early tournament season, right? Because at the start of Modern Warfare, it was pretty clearly Dallas Empire that were dominating these online S&D tournaments. When they go to LAN, it doesn't end up working out too well for them, right? And they improve, of course, significantly through the latter half of the season, even though it did turn to online. So very interesting to see how these teams do match up when the game finally drops, and it's not too far around the corner now. Just to finish off the video with a couple of things, thought this is funny from, well, Gersh over at the podcast. Today is our final category, most likely to marry the game. They went through and did like a Season 1 yearbook, so Crimsix gets most likely to get arrested. Funniest comms goes to Method. Slasher gets most likely to be president. Aches is most likely to work for Activision. Best bromance, of course, goes to T2P. Most likely to be on the cover of GQ is Zuma. Most athletic, so best in-game movement is Shotzi. Least athletic, worst in-game movement goes to Clay. So this was a tight 4 battle between Clayster and Dens. And then the final one is most likely to get married to the game. I think my vote would go to Illy, but I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, just wanted to mention this. BreakingPoint.gg did an interview with Kenny last night, and one of the things he mentions in it, I'll leave the whole thing linked down below. It's a pretty good read, and as he says right here, going into Modern Warfare, you switch your tag from Kenny to Quavo. What caused the switch? My brand. I simply took my name out of my gamer tag and thought the switch would be for the best, but after hearing it on stream, it just didn't sound the same as Kenny, so I told the league to change it back after the first event, and they never allowed to after agreeing to let me. So definitely seems like Kenny is going to be back next season at the very least, and well, we don't have to deal with Quavo anymore. Thank you for watching the video as always, guys. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next time.
I'm gonna go bottom foot, actually.
There's only one B. Yo, there's one B in the left corner.
Clay, I've across A.
I'm just watching our right side mid cut, and I'm watching our jump up.
Back right, blue bus. Black right, blue bus.
Yeah, they're gonna end up working A. No, sniping. He's looking for me. He's sniping like
they're gonna be A probably.
They naded top.
He's holding flame from that one spot. Dub.
Can you shoot bomb?
Dead.
Porter, he's holding in.
I don't want to get sniped. I'm getting away from top.
Good one today.
Nice.
He's on, Porter, he's on. I think he backed up into broken.
I got in.
Watch out.
Where's the last kid?
Bottom MB.
I'm defusing. Alright, I'm waiting.
No, wait.
Wait, you are disgusting for winning that gunfight.
Got you, baby. Let's get this, man. It's game 5 in the winter semis of CoD champs, baby. Let's go.
Oh, that was Clay.
Kleenex, weak. I'm backing up, and Kleenex, they're back. Black Jeep.
Okay, I'm walking up.
Ant, stay down.
Where's that?
I don't know.
I'm watching your back, Ant.
I'm one shot.
I have your trade if they hit front.
Super hiding.
I have towards middle.
Yo, blue ticket,
He's
blue ticket.
Blue ticket came in weak.
Dead.
Nice.
One, touchy. One top. What's this touchy today? He's orange.
Can you check bomb or no?
No.
He's pushing me. One shot. Another one.
Kyler.
Come on, Kyler!
Kyler.
Big time player makes big time plays in big time games!
Let's get it, baby.
Let's go, Kyler!
I knew they were gonna push you out.
Tyler, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Alright, yo, calm this down, boys. Yo, this keep putting the dagger rounds on right here, guys.
Bottom foot, you're not there now. 3v2,
Watch out on A. Watch out on A.
Bottom foot as well.
Let's go. Last kid's back orange, right? Back orange.
Back left.
Dub.
I'm preming it.
He ran back. Let's
Go.
go! Come on!
Go now.
Go!
Baby.
Oh.
Let's go.
Go, man!
Go.
Drop a donut in big time games. That's a Euro
Fucking go, baby.
special, baby. That's a Euro special, baby.